Hi, and welcome to Astrology and Earth Magic. I'm Jen, and today I am bringing some astrological wisdom to see us into Jupiter's ingress into Cancer. So I brought you out for a nice walk out here on my Jupiter line, which is my favorite place to film. And Jupiter just brings you that optimism and that positive energy, which I kind of need right now because I've been sick for about 2 weeks, going on about 2 weeks. So getting over that, so hopefully this little walk in nature will help. So in this video, we will look at what this placement and what this transit looked like in the past and what it might bring along this time. What's the tie-in with the other social planet, our Saturn, that just recently ingressed into Aries on May 24th, just this past Saturday, and what that can mean for you as we go through sign by sign at the end of this video, so stay tuned. So Jupiter transits take about a year and a little and a month about to go through each sign, and it will be in Cancer until June 30th, 2026. So we go from the mutable Gemini to the cardinal Cancer. And just like Saturn last Saturday and Neptune back on March 30th, both also going from mutable signs, which was Pisces for both of them, and pretty much into the most cardinal sign there is, which is Aries. So we have a lot of things going about face. We're moving forward, we're getting antsy, we're getting wanting to get things moving. And with Uranus moving into Gemini in the middle of July, we can get ready for any surprises to give us a boost. So this can be a time for significant emotional growth. So this is Jupiter and emotions. So Jupiter is about growth, it's about develop, and it's about emotions. This is in Cancer. Maturity, dreams becoming reality, and a transformation we never expected could happen. So this is what all these social and outer planet transits are going to bring us if we learn to work with them and if we really go for it over the next year or so. So let's get the process started. That's how you get things going. Start building, start healing the stress, that anxiety, and start feeling good again, and just move towards a more united kind of way. I think that would be good for pretty much everybody as a collective. Jupiter in Cancer is in its exaltation. It means it's happy there. It's putting it on a pedestal, relishing affection on everybody that it cares about. This can be found in big family moments, and even if you're thinking about looking into your ancestry, especially with that Saturn change as well. Looking into your ancestry, finding out, maybe putting your DNA out there, maybe you'll find out things that you never knew about your history. And that, maybe will bring you changes moving forward as well. People, you get connected to different people that way. You find the different connections. I actually have a couple connections on mine, and it was really interesting to do, really a lot of fun. So intuition right now for the next year is going to be on high. This is intuition, that's Cancer, and Jupiter is expanding that intuition. So pay attention to what your gut is telling you, to what your gut is telling you to go, to do, and what it's telling you not to do, and maybe steer away from, when things maybe start getting a little bit out of hand. So watery Cancer brings in the summer solstice. So, and in the summer is a time for get-togethers and parties with those that we love, represented by the crab. Cancer outwardly keeps that hard, strong shell, but still inside is a big mush, especially to those that it loves. But it does have that protective shell. It wants to protect and take care of those that it loves as well. This shell protects it from when things get tough, and it enables it to stay strong through heartbreak and aversion. So it keeps us staying strong even though things might get difficult. It's about just getting up and walking again and not having things hold you back, just facing that aversion, facing those heartbreaks, and just getting through them. So that's a homebody sign, Cancer, and it's of nurturing, it's love, emotion, it's that feminine, the It's associated with female, the body type, the breast, the stomach, the mother, the maternal figure in your life, or how you can be that maternal figure and provide that nourishment, that compassion, providing what is needed for life, providing for our emotional needs, and its ruler, of course, is the moon. So it's our home life. It's about our home life, the homes that we've built for ourselves, the home that we live in, and just kind of our family life that we've created around us. With Jupiter's ingress, it can actually represent a grand beginning in this way. So Jupiter bringing abundance into whatever area of this life it falls. So you want to get your chart out and check, see what house this falls in, see kind of what area it brings in, but you're still going to get similar themes, those with home, family, that type of thing, but also wherever house it falls in your chart. Again, we're going to go through that at the end of the video. So what can we make bigger and better with care? What can we nurture and grow with, deep intentions, beginning a new chapter, producing and providing what this needs to thrive. So it's nurturing these ideas. It's helping them grow, helping them to mature. All these ideas and these whatever we're working towards. So the cardinal restlessness will be like that cattle prod to get us moving, get us fostering, get us building. To the most impactful if it's going to fall on one of your angles. So again, you want to get those charts out. So your angles are your ascendant, descendant, MC, IC. You could even look at it as your first, fourth, seventh, and 10th houses. So it's a natural ruler of the fourth house, so expect, of course, those fourth house themes, no matter where it appears in your chart. So a lot of effort is going to be on supporting your emotional well-being and the emotional well-being of others. So it's helping people, it's helping yourself, taking care of yourself, fixing what needs to be fixed, nurturing it, taking care of it, feeding it, helping it grow, helping it get through, and helping it to mature. And this can be a lot with support from a recent trauma, but ultimately will bring optimism. So you could have the things that you need to heal from, the things that you need to kind of let go of almost. But with this optimism, with Jupiter being that optimistic sign, even though there could be a horrible, trauma that could happen, that you would need this help, that need to help somebody else, it can bring that optimism in this area of your life. So, and when there is optimism, there is growth. So let your intuition guide you to greatness. So this is a good time to even grow your family, perhaps, because that's that motherly instinct coming up, by reconnecting with those you've lost touch with, maybe even branch out your family tree. That's like I said, more people in your life, the better. You have more positives, sometimes more negatives, but it does bring a lot more positive in. So, you have a more, probably will be developing, because you're going to be healing, having a more secure feeling in your relationships. So if you're feeling insecure, this is what we're getting rid of, as I say, getting rid of that stress and anxiety, getting rid of those questions. You're going to be more relatable, aware of when somebody is in emotional need, and they'll be the same way, because we're all going to be going through this. So we're going to be sensing each other's needs a little bit more acute to them. So let's look back on what this looked like in history and how it has affected us as a collective in the past. So the past dates of Jupiter transiting in Cancer, the most recent was June 13th to July 2013 to June 2013 to July 2014. Before that, July 2001 to August 2002, and before that, July 1989 to August 1990. Before that was a little bit longer because of some retrogrades. It was about 1977 to about 79. So it's usually about a year and a month. That one was a little bit longer. So a lot of coming together after tragedy if you look at these dates in history. So beginning with the most recent, the 2013 to 2014 transit. Funny little tidbit I just wanted to add in about food. So nourishment, that's cancer, and growing food. So growing, and that is Jupiter. Jupiter is that growth. And so on August 5th, 2013, the first bovine lab-grown burger is eaten. So I'm glad that didn't really become a thing. Kind of glad that didn't stuck. But you can see that Cancerian, feeding, growing Jupiter kind of thing there. But the big event that happened in this transit was the bombing at the Boston Marathon. So this is, again, coming together through tragedy. We had two brothers, a family, this cancer, that caused this terror attack. They worked together and caused this huge, horrible event to happen. It's Jupiter. So we see, that Cancerian, that family coming together to do something awful, something big. But what we saw during this time was the world really coming together to support Boston. And it started that saying that you see now all the time when things happen different places, Boston Strong. People had it everywhere. Everyone had signs, Boston Strong, because the world came together to support the people in Boston and, the people that were in this tragedy, and to give them that support they needed. It drew communities closer over that compassion. So through compassion, it drew people closer and stopped the diversity, really. So that was the last one. Prior to that transit, 2001 to 2002. So of course, we'll never forget the biggest act of terrorism on our soil here in the United States was 9/11. And this was huge. So again, we see another tragedy happening. But then the US put aside their differences to come together as a country, and everyone, I remember this so much that you would go down the street and everyone would have a flag on their cars or on their houses. Just everyone was all about America, and everyone was flying the flag. Everyone was united, and we were a united front off of helping the people that went through this horrible tragedy, the people that got killed, and then coming together as a country to kind of fight the enemy, but also to support each other. It was the most united I've ever seen in my lifetime, this country has been. So unfortunately, it came after a tragedy. So prior to that, in 1989-90 transit, Princess Diana opens a landmark AIDS center. So AIDS, that was a horrible, horrible illness. Of course, still is a horrible thing, but it was really at its peak in the 90s. We lost so many people. It was terrifying. And, unfortunately, there was so much stigma and fear that people didn't want to touch these people. They didn't want to, they shunned them. And it's very sad. But this center really was the cornerstone that helped provide that much needed care and compassion for these people that they really just needed. So they're still human beings despite having this horrible illness. So that, again, is that coming together in compassion through tragedy. So, and then in November of that transit, we had the fall of the Berlin Wall. So again, we see unity coming together for the greater good. So his history shows that, how in order to overcome tragedy, humanity, unites to overcome tragedy, to come together, to support each other. We are very split in the world right now. So unfortunately, in the past, something bad had to happen to spark this unity. And I worry, especially with Uranus on that last critical degree, that 29th degree, about to make its ingress from Taurus into Gemini. And that's going to be right about the time that the U.S. has the planned big celebration for its 250th year anniversary. And Uranus moving into the 7th house of the U.S. chart and that's the house of seen enemies. So I hope that the world can come together, not only over tragedy, but I hope something bad does not happen. And just seeing on the news tweets from one of Putin's cronies threatening World War III can't get you help but get you worried, that something horrible could happen. And through that, are we going to come together in unity? I hope it doesn't come to that. Hopefully it'll be just that we could become united because things start falling into place, but only time will tell. So on a personal level, let's look at how this is going to be in your chart. So again, grab your chart, see where this falls. Also, think about, maybe grab some of your past diaries or journals for, these dates and see different things that might have been happening in these years. Your memory, and see how this affected you. Or, did these significant events that I spoke of that happened here in the United States or other world events have you going above and beyond for your community? It could have been a flood or a earthquake or who knows what, but did something cause you, some tragedy cause you to come together? Maybe a loss of somebody important in your community, or was it more personal? If you are Cancer rising, this will be in your first house. So so here's where you'll grow as an individual. So, tie this in with Saturn and Aries, we can grow and become known for being compassionate, for doing the good things that we do and building a better you. That is how it would come out in the first house, because you're building a better you. So, a more compassionate you. In the second house, you would be a Gemini rising. So Jupiter is growing finances, and tying in with the 11th house Saturn, are we growing, maturing, and showing compassion in how we maybe give to others, to charities and things like that, those impacted by disaster, being overly generous, but of course you don't want to cripple yourself, because Jupiter does have a way of going a little bit too far. So don't cripple yourself. You're worth more than just your money. So maybe if you don't have the money and you can't really give too much, maybe just lending a helping hand would be, something that you could do here. Third house, Taurus rising, maybe we grow in helping those who are forgotten and shut away, tying in with the 12th house, with Saturn in the 12th. So those hospitalized or in nursing homes, maybe close family, maybe you have a grandparent or somebody that is close to you that's in a nursing home, or even a neighbor that can't get around too much and you're helping them out. So that's just showing that nurturing and caring in that way. People that need kindness. Overthinking though in this area, third house, can be a downfall. So you want to develop good communication, because you don't want to overthink things, have your mind overstimulated, and that again was that Jupiter that can make things be a little bit too much. If this is transiting your fourth house, you'll be in Aries rising, and so you want to grow within your home, maybe. So become maybe that matriarch of the home, a place where you can come to feel safe and others can come to feel safe. Maybe expanding your home with hard work, maybe putting an addition on, maybe moving to a larger home, or moving to a larger, plot of land, or, doing something that you've been working towards, maybe taking care of older relatives, bringing them into your home to care for them. And again, great house to really dig into your ancestry, but you also want to look and be careful with codependency, that you could be too much of a homebody and too much codependent on each other, have people be too dependent on you. So that's things you want to watch out for in that house. In the fifth house, if this is transiting your fifth house, you'd be a Pisces rising, and maybe it's time to have kids. So of course this is that maternal Cancer, and tied in with Saturn in the second, maybe we'll be, having the money to finally go like, oh, we could never afford kids before, but now we can. So now's the time that we're going to do this. We're having more things. We're, gaining more things so that we can, give a better life to children if we think about having them. So maybe this will be working with our hobby and making money with it. Something that we are passionate about, something creative. Maybe if we're painting, maybe writing a book, something like that, that we finally put out and we start making money and express yourself, and others will see value in that expression. If this is transiting your sixth house, you would be an Aquarius rising. Aquarius rising. You can be overly sensitive at work, and you can be a little bit withdrawn and pull yourself back. Tied in with Saturn in the third house, you want to really build that communication. Again, this is a lot, again, with overthinking things. And because of overthinking could be stifling you and holding you back. Build on that conversation with your superiors, with your coworkers. If you're struggling, ask for help. Even though that can be hard. Maybe you feel embarrassed to be asking for help, but you don't know how to do everything, and somebody is there to help. So, overindulgence in this can also be something in the sixth house. Overindulgence in food, weight gain, that Jupiter at work there. Overdoing exercise can also be an issue. So if you're overexerting yourself, that could show if this is transiting your sixth house. So Capricorn risings, you'll have this transiting your seventh house. This is cultivating your relationships, opening your home, move closer, maybe move in with each other. Maybe kind of solidifying that relationship a little bit. You feed off those close bonds. But again, codependence could show up here. You want to keep individualized instead of being part of a couple. You still want to have your individuality. But with compassion, brings stability, and from, that we can move on, that we can build upon. So it's all about building upon those relationships, building and growing that, building that love with each other, building that relationship. So if you are a Sagittarius rising, this is transiting your eighth house. So this would be tied with the eighth and fifth. Tied with Saturn, we can grow through loss. So your spirituality and form of alternative healing, perhaps, and how you might be able to help each other with that, yourself and others. So, maybe not the normal way of just getting better. Maybe try to find a different way of going about it. Maybe being a little more spiritual. Expect deep-rooted feelings of anxiety and issues in that way. There might be issues with money, especially if no hard contract in a relationship, because we do have that, tied in with the fifth house. So if we're, just kind of dating and then things kind of fall apart, you don't want to kind of get joint credit cards and have other people's bills to pay in the eighth house here. But you could also see, again, something coming together from tragedy, because that can be a house of loss. So a big tragedy, maybe losing a parent or somebody like that, a grandparent, could bring some kind of financial gain so for a family, and maybe that could be a coming together in that type of tragedy. So if you are Scorpio rising, this is transiting your ninth house. In the ninth house, we want to share what we learned, providing guidance and mentorism for those that we work with or that work for us. Exploration of different cultures and helping, maybe bridge a cultural gap. That can show here. Maybe sharing religions, keeping the faith is a big one when transiting here. You want to keep faithful, keep positive in that way. So if you are a Libra rising, these rising signs, you can also use your sun sign. It kind of falls about the same, because it'll be, so the 10th from the 1st, so which would be if you're using your sun sign as your rising sign, if you don't know it. So you can look at these as rising signs, or as your sun signs as well, if you don't know your rising sign. But again, pull your chart up. Super easy to do. Free programs, astro.com and astro-seek, and all you need is your birth time, place, and date. So Libra rising, this is going to be in your 10th house. So using your natural talents to bring harmony and make things balance, this can make you a great leader. So this could be, you could be a great boss or superior, an HR person, because you have that balance that you can have that compassion. You move up the ladder and gain respect for others in the right way because you're doing it the right way. You're not stepping on people to move up the ladder. You're working with them. And all this while Saturn is in the 7th, it's building and nurturing these relationships, using kindness and in being ambitious. Have an ambitious foundation will really be the big win here. So then if you are a Virgo sun or rising, that's going to be in your 11th house. So this is going to be about being socially connected and spreading yourself out on a large scale. So this can be shown in helping out in your community. But again, be careful not to overdo it. But you can get caught up, in that loss. But that can also tie in with debt. So don't be overly charitable because we have things, this tie in with the 8th house there. But you could, really enlarge your online presence and that type of thing if this is transiting through your 11th house, especially if you're, doing a YouTube channel, maybe giving advice, things like that. So the 12th house is Leo rising or sun. And this is how we can stand out when it's from behind closed doors. This could show volunteering abroad, perhaps, and bring that humanitarianism, finding a way to inner peace through a greater power. So really looking to that higher energy to bring us inner peace and to bring that peace to others. Maybe, doing that volunteering charity work, maybe abroad could be a big thing here. So again, ultimately, you want to be ready for this growth, no matter what form it comes from. And also, you want to grow in compassion, to grow with your fellow man, help them to grow as well, no matter what differences they have. You want to come together in unity and don't wait for tragedy to happen to do it. Try and reach out and reach between those lines. Look at the Cancer glyph, for instance. It looks like the yin-yang symbol. So it's those opposite forces just fitting together, creating that perfect circle. And then, like Cancer, it surrounds with that hard outer shell to show we cannot be broken. So whatever you bring, like the Boston bombing, like AIDS, like 9/11, we have that hard outer shell. We will protect ourselves. And even though it's going to be hard, united, when we come together and piece ourselves together, we can become united and we can get through anything. And like the movements of the crab, side by side, always looking forward doesn't turn your back on you. So do you have any hopes and fears or intuitions coming up about this transit? I would love to hear about them in the comments. So please put your comment down there. And if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button. Face your fears. Let's not turn our backs on each other. Be like that crab, and we could go side by side, shuffle together, but don't turn your back on each other, and we want to be there to support each other. So of course, get notified. We have lots more, so hit that notification bell. Have lots more astrology affecting the world around us. So stay tuned, you guys, and I will see y'all soon. Bye.